You are listening to SPN, the Sports Podcasting Network.
Nicely done by Piatti. That's spectacular. And Montreal Impact lead at BC Place. And it's Nacho Piatti with a goal.
Patrick Didier Drogba.
And here's the chance. Here's the chance. They've got the goal. Absolutely incredible. Cameron Porter.
And welcome to Off the Woodworkx. Kevin Laramie joined tonight by SoccerByIves' new Montreal Impact correspondent, Tristandamours. Tristan, first of all, how was your night tonight?
It was pretty good. It was pretty good. Obviously, though, with the late goal, you go from a 2-1 win for the Impact to a 2-2 draw. That's a journalist's nightmare. We all had to change our leads and we all had to change our stories. But apart from that, it was pretty good.
Now, you mentioned 2-2 draw for the Montreal Impact. It did start off pretty well, though, for the Impact. When you're looking at the first goal early on for the Montreal Impact, Mancosu, a nice finish with a through ball that he overtook the keeper, empty net goal, and the Piatti goal, of course, that gave Montreal a 2-goal lead. But, again, the old foe of the Montreal Impact, extra time came back to bite them where the sun don't shine. And when you're looking at the Montreal Impact tonight, goal at the 76th minute and 93rd minute for Seattle, the penalty on Laurent Simon's tackle, and the panic moments in the box that Will Bruin 6-yard tap-in finish, the new veteran acquisition for the Seattle Sounders, the defending and reigning MLS Cup champions. Now, the big stat, we'll start with that stat because it's actually really impressive. We're going to talk about in a second about the disappointment and the 2 goals and what led to Montreal conceding late. But there was a lot of improvements, Tristan, when we compared to last week, especially in the midfield. And there's one stat that is amazing compared to last week, and that's the passing accuracy in the midfield. Yeah, we do have the 79% overall, and last week it was below 70. But when you look directly at the defensive midfield, Donadel, Bernadello, and Bernier over 84%, 91% Donadel, and Bernadello 94%. It's impressive. It's amazing. It's the type of improvement that was definitely needed for the Montreal Impact.
That was what you needed, to be honest, if you're the Montreal Impact, if you're Mauro Biello. You want to have your central midfield to put in work and to get those balls and to actually have a good passing accuracy, to do a good job going from the midfield up, because last week was definitely not the case. It was definitely not the case. It was, in my opinion, it was one of the last preseason games for the Impact. And this week, you actually had players on point playing. You named the 3 midfielders, Bernier, Bernadello, and Donadel. They were doing their jobs, and they were getting the ball forward, and that's what helped them at the start of the game in the first half. Not much negative points in the first half, and then starting early in the second half with the goal as well, that really helped them. But the result doesn't go their way. Definitely the point, they're going to grab the point and they're going to take it, but it's definitely not a winning feel for that draw.
The substitution of Patrice Bernier at the 59th minute really was the catalyst on the downside for the Montreal Impact. After Bernier was subbed off, you saw a drastic lower of percentage of pass completed. You saw the ball possession really diminish for the Montreal Impact, and you saw the one positive of ball possession going forward, keeping the momentum on your side, truly disappear for the Montreal Impact. And is it a coincidence that after Bernier gets subbed off, the possession goes down? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, Aregi, we still didn't see as much of him as we should to actually criticize him and just tell him exactly what he's capable of. I personally haven't seen him prior, so I couldn't tell you exactly what his main strengths and main weaknesses are. But definitely, you had your central midfield who was doing very good, and then you sub off Bernier, and then it kind of just goes AWOL.
Which he was just giving his second assist too on the Piatti's goal when he was subbed off. So 2 assists for Patrice Bernier were given after the fact. He got an assist on a Mancosu goal, was announced just before the beginning of the second half. And then in the beginning of the second half, Piatti scored a few minutes later. They announced that Patrice Bernier got an assist on that one too, and he's getting subbed off. And it really changed at that moment. And it was a little bit unfortunate. And yes, you couldn't really plan that way. But speaking of plan, one thing that we always talk about when it's Mauro Biello and his substitution, there's always seemed to be plan. They're never necessarily game reaction. They're not necessarily reaction to what's going on in the field. It's like, okay, at the 59th minute, this person, this does that, this does this. We saw Biello come in to get an ovation at home and have a couple of great first touches, but it was not necessarily responsible, but it was there at the end when the get scored on. It was Oyongo's fault, though. On that cross, Oyongo was the player not taking his defensive responsibility, but on the positive side, Oyongo all game long was creating chances with Nacho Piatti on the left flank, really using that space available in front of him and creating that time necessary for Piatti to get open or to put it on his right foot. And look, he made a fool out of Torres on Piatti's goal, where literally Piatti destroyed and took Torres off his boots. Torres got caught ball watching, didn't turn the right way, turned on the other side, shot, and it's 2-0 Montreal. What is your thought on Ambroise Oyongo's second game this season? Maybe his best performance for sure this year.
I mean, definitely. I mean, he's an African champion. He's got like a really good offseason going for him. You get the sense, and even though like he was at fault in that goal, you get the sense that Oyongo is going to be one of the pillars this year for the Impact. He's definitely he's setting his stride to get another great season in. But it's one of those things that you get with Oyongo. It's kind of like a high risk, high reward, where when you got a guy pushing like Oyongo, you might have to be more sound defensively, and just it leads to some mistakes. That happened. It's just something to deal with.
Last point I want to touch with you, Tristan, tonight. We saw a big dip of form and fitness for the Montreal Impact when it was late in the game after the 70th and after the 8th minute. And as the listeners will be able to listen in a few minutes, Evan Bush mentioned that the big difference late in the game was fitness. Is it because of the Montreal Impact age? Is it because of the amount of older legs in the midfield, the lack of options off the bench that would bring that opportunity that we will see when Argiro doesn't start game? When he comes in, he does bring that spark. What does explain the Montreal Impact to have fitness issues in the second game of the season?
Well, I feel like we as journalists should be very critical about this. I think that if fitness is an issue in week 2, well, it was just for you, the Montreal Impact and Mauro Biello and the fitness trainers, to have a better fitness program in order to be in this, to be in this season and to start the season well. We all know, like, if you have the points in and you get an early playoff berth, it's going to go easier for you. I think that if we knew this from the get-go, that the Impact was going to be one of the oldest teams in MLS. If you can't actually set your mind around the fact that you're one of the oldest teams in MLS and you need to have more fitness, you need to watch your players in order for them to be the best they could be, and you fail at it, well, it's a bit on the players. It's a bit on the players and it's a bit on the staff. You need to have your best possible team, and we saw that it was failing in the first 2 weeks. So it's on the Impact.
You can read Tristan's work on SoccerByIves now, and you can as well follow Tristan on Twitter at tristandamours. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, the post-game comments of Mauro Biello, the head coach of the Montreal Impact, Evan Bush, and Patrice Bernier. Please take a really careful listen to what Evan Bush had to say. We'll be right back.
Coach, just on the last goal there on the second one, the 2-2, what did you see, and what would you have liked to have seen?
Yeah, I think we had the ball, and then it's as if my team was just waiting for the final whistle, and that's what pissed me off. And in the end, you got to play with urgency all the time. Hernan went to close down. He got around him. He puts a cross in, hesitant in the box, goal. Can't hesitate. You can't be casual ever in this game.
You said there were some positives, though. What did you like from in the first 80 minutes?
Yeah, look, I'm sure that when I go watch the game, and I'm going to say that there was a lot of good things, because we didn't play well in San Jose, and I can't say that we played bad this game. I can't, because there was moments that we played out of the back, no problem, found solutions, unbalanced, went to goal. We were able to score 2 good goals in terms of one in possession, one on a counter. We were able to close the middle, not give them much defensively, and we pressed higher, won back balls higher. So these are all positives. It's just right now there's emotions, and I'm disappointed that we let Seattle back in the game.
Mauro, you have to be good to find yourself in big moments, and you've been in big moments like a Champions League final, like an Eastern Conference final. But the staple seems to be managing the last 10 minutes has been something that has cost this organization amazing moments. And again tonight, not as big obviously, but what do you think it is that is stopping this team, an experienced one, from managing the last 10 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say. We're not having this conversation if this game ends in 2-1, but in the end, this is the game. You gotta play till that final whistle, and in the end, it's about sacrificing. If you're tired, if you're in the wrong position, making the effort, the commitment to get back, to win those battles, and to not give an inch, and have that mentality. And it's the only way. The only way is to have a mentality where you don't want to give up nothing. You got to take pride in everything. You don't want to give the other team a goal. They got to look at your goalie with binoculars, and that's a mindset that needs to be established for us to get over this hump and to close off games.
Mauro, what do you think of the penalty call?
You know what? I didn't see it. There was contact. He went down. I didn't even know if it was, who was it, Seaman or. I think, with Seaman, he was on a yellow, so, he maybe, I have to re-see it. He was probably tentative, but I have to re-see it.
Cabrera est sorti, semblait blessé. Est-ce que tu as un update sur son état?
Non, je pense que c'était des crampes.
Merci.
Evan, for 82 minutes, that looked beautiful.
Yeah.
But the last 10, they continue to haunt this team. What do you think it is to get over that last 10 hump?
It's a lot of things. It's fitness related. It's decision making. I remember thinking pretty clearly now in like the 76th, 77th minute, we felt comfortable. And it was the same thing last year looking back against Toronto when we were up 3-0. We got comfortable. We started, we want to hear the olays from the crowd. It's not the time. You finish the game. That's it. Just make the right decisions, finish the game, keep the clean sheet. There's no reason when you're up 2-1 to have guys running back, facing the goal to defend a cross. We can't. It's impossible. Yeah, you have to be, tactically a little bit smarter in those situations, and we weren't.
You say you think it's fitness related. What do you think?
I mean, we died off. It's pretty obvious. It's early in the season, so I think a lot of guys and a lot of teams, it's the same situation. So, we have to take it upon ourselves if the guys feel like they're unfit to do it. I think the training sessions have been good. But at the same time, if guys feel individually like they need that, then they need to get whatever extra in, because I'd rather put the work in on a Tuesday and Wednesday and win a game on Saturday than float through the week and then give up a 2-goal lead on Saturday. It's just me, though.
On the second goal, what would you like to see defensively?
We just need to be much better. Like I said, you can't be running back with facing your own goal. Everything needs to be in front of you at that time. It can't be so easy, just playing the ball back through the goalkeeper, coming out, the ball gets wide, whipped in. They have 3 big guys in there. They react faster than we do to tap in from 6 yards. So there's a lot of things that need to be different on the second goal.
It's early, but you feel now that you have to go on the road for 3 that the pressure's kind of cranking up already?
No, I don't care about that. We can win games on the road. We can win games anywhere. It's a matter of completing the game, and pressure is it's what you guys it's what you guys want to see and what you guys manufacture. And pressure comes at the end of the season. You're not out of anything in this league until October, so you can always make a run. Seattle was 10 points out of a playoff spot in July last year, so There's no pressure, but there is a sense of urgency, like there should be. There always is a sense of urgency.
You mentioned the difficulty in the air. What to do differently to make sure that the aerial challenge are worked on correctly?
I thought for the most part we did pretty well until the last goal, really. I thought Victor played really well. It was unfortunate he had to come out. I think he did really well on Morris and Dempsey and those guys. And then they have the benefit of bringing a guy like Bruin in, who is an experienced guy in this league. He's a big guy. And when he's able to knock balls down, get on second balls, things like that, it's hard. So, we're not going to grow. We're not physically going to grow, overnight. So it's a number of things. It's being more physical. It's having the right, tactically being in the right spot. We don't want to have physical battles because, like I said, Bruin's a bigger guy than we have. Dempsey's pretty big guy. So they have guys that they can go through in situations like that. So we need to be smart and wise in what we do to counteract those things.
How did you see
this game for over 80 minutes? I'd love to be asking you about how much great things you did for 80 minutes, but that age-old problem of managing the last 10 minutes haunts you again.
Yeah, look, it's concentration. Even though you could say there's fatigue, it's concentration. I think we played a little bit too direct towards the end. We could have kept the ball, we could have managed the game much better. Where I think we were playing too fast, where they wanted the ball back and we were giving them the ball back. I don't want to be too negative because we did do a lot of good things. If you compare it to last week, it's a night and day. So we had possession. First half, we created a lot of chances. We recovered the ball. We worked hard. We were intense. But it has to be 90 minutes plus. And in this league, most goals are scored in the last 15 minutes. So that's where our focus has to be even higher. And so is it more work at training? Is it to be alert, being on top of each other to make sure that we don't slack off in the small sprint? We just got to keep working. We did a lot of good things. We have to take the positive from that, but we have to realize that we're going to go play against some good teams now in the next 3 weeks, and we have to play 90 minutes plus.
Thank you. It looks like your counter-attacking game is back.
We played a team that's good on the ball, so of course, I can't say it plays in our hands, but they move a lot of pieces forward, and you saw second goal. We recover, and Nacho does his thing. So that was it's a good sign that we're able to do the good things that we're known for. But we still have to manage the game and not maybe sit back too much. And if we do sit back, to keep the ball, to slow the pace of the game, so that we don't let them get momentum, because we took 2-1, and I think 2-1 we should be able to manage that. Because it's one goal, it's a PK, but mentally we should be able to finish off this game and get 3 points.
You think that was a penalty?
I didn't see really. I was asked a question because the guys were coming off from the sideline, so I didn't really see if it was a penalty. I'll have to re-see it after the game.
I know you're not on, but just what did you see from your vantage point on the tying goal?
Tying goal, yeah, they crossed it. They put a lot of big men in the box, but the ball bounced. There was a second ball. I think we just need to realize that where's the ball at and jump on it first, because they got to the ball first. And I think at the end, those last 10 minutes, it just seemed like the ball was always bouncing their way, and we didn't manage to get the second ball and put our foot on the ball.
Were you a bit surprised you came off at when you did?
Look, Mauro makes the decision. He sees the game. We have to live with that, and that's it. But now today, we took a point, but it feels like a loss. Got to move on. We have the next game. I'm not going to start thinking of when I came off and who came off. Mauro sees the game. He sees something that needs to be changed, and then we move on.
Does the pressure kind of rise a bit now? Sorry that you guys are going on the road 3 weeks now. I mean, it's hard to.
We have to pick it up. We have to show a lot of character, because we're going to play New York City. We're going to play LA. So Chicago is doing well right now. So it's not going to be easy. And we come back. We're playing Atlanta. That seems to be a team that's run and gun at the beginning of the season. So back to work. Show a lot of character and work harder and harder and harder until these little lapses or from the past, or at least we'll be able to deal with them better.
Biggest upgrade today was the passing accuracy in the midfield. Ball possession, yes, but the passing accuracy was a big difference. What does a week make difference in that standard?
No, it's just we worked on this last 3 weeks. Last game was a bump in the road. We didn't really play that well. We didn't manage the ball as well before. And this game we showed our real qualities. But we still, it wasn't enough to get the 3 points, but we did a lot of good things that I'm very proud of, and we just got to keep working on that and making sure that we play 90 minutes plus at this level.
Thank you, Patrice.
Good.
So thanks to Mauro Biello, Patrice Bernier, and Evan Bush for their post-game comments. Now, very interesting comments by Evan Bush. fitness related, to need to work a little harder late in the game and ball in the box. Interesting comments. And Patrice Bernier as well. Yes, he didn't want to venture in the reason why he was subbed off, and it's Mauro's decision. But it's kind of interesting to see statistically the breakdown minute by minute once he was subbed off, to feel how the ball possession and especially the control of the game. Yes, it's intangible and there's no statistic to put a number and like the efficiency percentage on how a player affects the play, the tempo when he's on the pitch. But that's one of the things that Patrice Bernier does, is affect the tempo and ball possession. And once he was subbed off, you actually did see a dip in the statistical department for the Montreal Impact. So that wraps it up for today. Stay tuned. MLS post-game show is back Sundays, 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific. You can actually put down on your phone right now the phone number for the open lines, because yes, we have open lines now on the MLS post-game show. 1-802-731-0131. That's 1-802-731-0131. Tomorrow night, or tonight, depending on when you are listening to this podcast, Sunday, 1 a.m., the MLS postgame show at 1 Eastern and 10 p.m. Pacific. You can follow me on Twitter at Kev Larme and follow the show at Soccer Today SPN and the network, of course, at Sports Podcasting Network. Do not forget, for your Montreal Impact content, Off the Woodworkx. Until next time, I am Kevin Larme, and have a great soccer. You were listening to SPN, the Sports Podcasting Network. Visit us, sportspodcastingnetwork.com.